YouTube, what is going on? We are back with another video, and today I wanted to go over something very important. I've been seeing a lot of different information that I don't know if I 100% necessarily agree with. I wanted to go over the Waveplates, aka the resin, as well as their version of fragile resin. So right now, a pretty basic quick rundown is this is their resin mechanics, limited Genshin, similar to Star Rail. It takes 24 hours to generate back your full resin. So just keep that in mind. Whatever time you finish it. I think I finished my resin last at like fucking 2 a.m., 3 a.m. or something. It's not going to be ready again until 2 a.m. the next night, but it is what it is. Resin is a crucial part in this game, and it's very, very different from Genshin because, as we've discussed previously, you can really get echoes from kind of just farming things in your world through your data bank. You can actually get, you can actually get echoes through resin grinding, which is a good alternative. We'll go over that after, but that should be a last resort. But, you know, the whole thing when Genshin is, hey, save your fragile resin until your AR-45. That way you could actually grind artifacts. In this case, it's very different. One of the main functionalities of resin is it actually generally helps you level up your union level. You get a bunch of union XP from using resin in bosses, in domains, in simulation training, although it's not as much there, but you get a lot of union level, which is directly tied to your progression in the game. If you want to start getting higher level echoes, you have to hit union level 30. You need to hit data bank 15 to start finally getting the opportunity to get these. And I believe you actually need union level 40 to max out at 20. Something along those lines. I know you need a high union level. So it's not just strictly based on, you know, getting gear, because it overall helps you level up, right? Now, what I want to first show you, instead of what you should be using your resin on, your wave plates on, I want to show you what you should not be using your wave plates on at this time, and especially in the beginning of the game. Do not get sucked into the pattern of using your wave plates on simulation training. Simulation training will come in handy as time goes on. You don't want to start doing simulation training until your world level is the highest possible that you can get. I recommend rank 3 because that's when the rewards start to pick up quite a bit. So again, simulation training before union level 3, it's a scam due to the fact that you're just getting lesser rewards. You're going to be getting greens and blues as opposed to the opportunity of getting blues and purples, etc., etc. So you want to try to stay away from this as far as possible. Also, the reason why I would not recommend getting this, really going hard for this, is just by playing the game, completing story, side quests, and exploration, you get a lot of these materials already. You don't need to go in there and the second you see you unlock your resin, okay, let me go in there and bang out simulation trainings and start doing that. Hold off. Definitely hold off. Just play the game. You won't really run into issues of leveling up characters unless you spread your resources too thin and start building 9 characters at once, trying to get ready for endgame. I wouldn't recommend that. Again, don't do this at first. Please hold off on this until at least phase 3 or higher. Please, please, please. Now, the things that you should be focusing on, because I believe there are a few. One would be your level ups. So if we look right here, Verena is level 50. If I wanted to ascend Verena, I need 6 more LG Tacit cores, which I get from farming this boss. The game's bugging out. I get from farming this boss. It's 60 wave plate for 1 boss completion. It's expensive, and you really want to lock down these first, as well as while you're doing the bosses, possibility to obtain medium resonance potion, medium energy core, medium seal tube. These are the same things that you would have gotten from the simulated training as well, on top of you getting more union XP. You're getting 450 union XP. So the first thing I would do, lock down the bosses, man. Figure out what characters, what 1 to 2 characters, maybe 3 if you're really pushing that you want to build. Figure out what bosses they use. Go there. The next big thing you should be focusing on, find your main character, your favorite character that you want, that you know this is the one. You're the one that I want. Find them. Go to the Forte circuit. See what materials they need. In this situation, Donjon needs this boss weekly material, Dreamless. How do you get this? Resin. You're only locked to these 3 times a week. Now, obviously, this is a similar situation where you want to try to do these bosses at a higher world level, so that way you can have the possibility of obtaining the highest rewards. But even if you're not, like, let's say, the highest world level possible, you should still be doing it so that way you can upgrade your account and really get your characters there. You know, get your characters in better position. This is another massive, massive spot that we should be looking at. You have to be strategic and figure out which 3 you want to fight, and hopefully you get lucky with RNGs, but that's big. But also, general talent materials are very important as well. So if I go over here for Resonance Liberation, Polarized Metallic Drip, how do you get that? Now, you could synthesize these, obviously, which is something you should try to do first. You want to try to synthesize as much as possible and craft as much as possible before you start using your resin on these types of deals. But if you're unable to synthesize this and you really don't have anything, what else are you going to do? You have to level your talents. It's just part of the game core mechanic. You should be focusing talents over doing your simulation training. So let's look at the domain. If I go back here, forgery challenge, bam, we have this. It gives you talent upgrade materials. It's going to give you other general rewards, Mora, union experience. You get what I'm saying? You want to try to focus on the core stuff that you need to level up your characters and level up their power abilities to make the power spike go higher, so that way you can do as much damage as possible. In time, you are going to run out of level up materials. And when you start to run out of level up materials and your world level is high enough, then you could start going into simulation training. Or if you run out of weapon level up materials, let's say you got 1,000,000 weapons and now you don't have anything else to do. You have no other source of materials. Then you go there. But to go there off rip is a waste of time, it's a waste of resin, and it's really not efficient for your account because it's not going to be beneficial. Now it'll be beneficial because you're getting these higher rarity drops. But before, it's not really worth it. The other thing about Waveplates, as I said before, is you do need to get a high enough level, especially union level 30, because that allows you to get higher echoes and more things, etc., etc. Once you get to a certain point in the game, there is going to be a time where you're not going to be able to get as much union rank from side quests, etc., etc., due to the fact that you've probably done everything. And if you're stuck, that's a good point to not only start using your fragile resin, which we'll get to in a moment, but then saying, okay, I need to look to see where my resin's at, and we need to do something like now. The other thing you could use your resin on is tacit fields. Tacit fields, I think, should be a last resort. The fact that you can go in there and really go around and track every single echo in the game, which will take you all day. And if you so happen to clear out every single echo of that subcategory that you need, and you don't have any friends, Sag, me too, then you can run to a tacit field and they'll give you a specific type of echo and 450, but it is 60 wave plates. So tacit fields are not bad. Again, another one of those things that I just don't recommend using unless it is a last resort, last minute thing. You're like, okay, I need this. Same thing here. First clear rewards, and then the possibility, etc., etc. So just keep that in mind. Same thing with tacit fields. As I said previously, you want to have the highest world level possible. Now, if we look at your backpack, their fragile resin is crystal solvent. This portion is the same as Star Rail and Genshin, where do you want to front load your crystal solvent usage in the beginning? That way you can make a massive upward trajectory as soon as possible, and then you start to fizzle out once you run out of them, and then you have to use your daily resets. Or do you want to just use your daily resin and farm the game naturally to progress through, and then once you feel like you got to that point where you're starting to fizzle out, you then use the fragile and zoom up? Either way works. There's not a right or wrong decision. Personally, for me, I'm waiting. And why am I waiting is eventually at some point in time, I'm going to run out of quests that are going to give me union XP. And when I run out of quests that are going to give me union XP and I need to get a higher union level so that way I could obtain those 5-star echoes, then I'm going to bang those out. You have to be union rank level 40, I believe, or so to get to level 20. The only way I'm getting union rank level 40 is if I'm using these crystal solvent, these fragile resins, bro. Because, there's not going to be a new quest for X amount of time. You know what I'm saying? Obviously, there'll be events that drop. I'm sure those give you union XP and whatnot, but I feel it's smarter to save it. But realistically, the end result's going to be the same. Regardless of how you use it, it will be used. Now, what do you want to use it on? That depends on the situation in which your account's looking. Again, if you have nothing left, but you have a high enough world level, this is not a bad option, simulation training. But again, last resort. This, tacit field, last resorts. What am I going to probably use them on? Boss materials. I think that's the wave. For me, I'm going to use the boss materials. I'm going to use it on talent materials. I want to try to get my teams going as soon as possible. Resin is a crucial part of the game, and I like the fact that it is tied to your union rank. Because if you're stuck, at the end of the day, it's a gacha game. If you wait an extra day and you don't have any type of fragile, you can just use that, and then it'll get your union rank up by pretty decent amount. So at least that's another little boost for when you run out of quests and other things to do. So that's my breakdown of resin, man. Again, TLDR, focus on leveling up your characters first, your materials for the bosses. You get your Forte circuit, your weekly bosses. You then want to get your talent materials, from the domains. You again try to synthesize them if possible, if you have anything. And then do not do tacit fields or, these simulation trainings until you're a high level. And I think that really is the basis. And yeah, let me know what you think. That being said, if you need any more help, comment. I got you. Mwah. I'll see you soon. It's calling my name. So come on, baby, let's stop.